Welcome. How are you today?
It's our first show, don't judge us.
You better not judge us. We coming back with some fire hidden. Listen, today's episode is titled Religion or Tradition. And I think that's a good title. Since what we're going to be talking about is stupid stuff.
Listen, we don't know what we're talking about. Like, we know what we're talking about, the subject matter, but we don't necessarily know everything about everything. So, whatever we say, don't take it as something that you should just start following. We're just two dudes talking in a room about our thoughts and opinions on things. Please don't overthrow the government or nothing like that. I'm pretty sure we're not that special for y'all to be listening to anyway. But if you do happen to listen to this podcast, I hope you enjoy it, because we're just over here just talking, trying to create conversation and,
Word.
spread good vibes.
All right, so I want to start off with this right here because I think this will signify like what we're going to discuss today.
Dear God, there's a lot of questions that I have about the past, and I don't want to hear it from a human. You made it, so you're the last person that I'm ever gonna ask. Tell me what's real, tell me what's fake. Why is everything about you a debate? What's the point of love? Every time I showed it, I was broken and it's forced me just to only want to hate. Why is there only one you but multiple religions? Why does every conversation end in a division? Why does everybody want to tell us how to live, but they won't listen to the same damn message that they give? Tell me how to feel, tell me what's wrong. I tried to call, pick up the phone, I'm on my own. Everybody said you coming back to man, why the hell's it taking so long? Why do I hurt? Why is there pain? Why does everything good always have to change?
So that, in a nutshell, is what we're going to discuss. Religion. Is it religion or is it tradition? The one thing I like the most about what he said is, if there's only one you, why are there so many different religions?
I think I grew up. The first church I ever went to was a Seventh-day Adventist church, and my grandmother was the one who was a member of that church. And I remember, because I don't remember the church and everything like when I was a kid, but I just remember what it looked like. I remember being like under the pews as a little kid, just like crawling around on the floor and stuff like that. And I remember my grandmother slapped me around a couple of times, telling me to stay still and things like that. And I remember it was a Spanish-speaking church, so they didn't speak any English. They spoke Spanish, and it was just, I just remember that. And then I remember somehow, some way, we became Catholic. So my grandmother was a Seventh-day Adventist when I was around 3 years old. And then as I got a little bit older, and I moved away out of my grandmother's house, my mom, she was just whatever was around. And I guess the Catholic Church, she knew people who went to the Catholic Church, so she started going to Catholic Church, and that kind of became her thing. And so I remember getting baptized in the Catholic Church, which is weird.
What was that like?
They put you like your head over a sink, and they anoint you with that oil or whatever. The deal.
Olive oil?
Yeah.
So they just dump it on you?
Yeah, they take like a little cup or something. It's like they just threw it on me, and I was just like, and I remember because when they did it to me, it was kind of weird. But then when they did it to my brother, I was like, oh my god, because he was a baby, It was just like, why he's pouring down his head, like. So it wasn't like they drowned you. It wasn't waterboarding or anything like that. But
it wasn't because of the oil.
I'm waterboarding you with Christ.
So the only thing I've ever seen with the oil is I've seen people like
oh yeah, they do that too.
Yeah,
No, they kind of pour it over your head. That's their way of baptizing you.
I've never seen that before.
And then when you get baptized like that, you have godparents who are there to kind of help guide you through your spiritual deal. So that's where the term godparents come from. A lot of people say, "Oh, this is my godmother, this is my godfather," but are they? I'd be like, "But were you guys baptized in the Catholic Church, and did you do it like this?" Then technically, you're just making stuff up.
Yeah,
they're not godparents; they're just really close friends and family,
Wow.
And then you have the Seventh-day Adventists, because so check this out. So later on, and I just want to mention too, like my grandmother, she was a Pentecostal when my mom was growing up, and her husband or boyfriend or baby daddy, whatever you want to call it, with my aunt and uncle. My mom had 2 brothers and 1 sister. Her oldest brother, she's the oldest in the family, but her oldest brother had a dad that no one knows about.
Oh, okay.
So no one knows nothing
I
about
was
him.
like, she's
And then
the
her
oldest, but she got an older brother?
She's the oldest in her family.
Okay.
And then her brother,
Right.
one of her brothers, who's younger than her, but he's the older of the brothers. You
Ah,
understand
okay.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
He, no one knows who his dad is. So we don't talk about it.
We don't.
We'll talk about Bruno.
We don't
Yeah.
talk about Bruno. Yeah.
So, her youngest brother and sister, and her sister, so my aunt and uncle, they have a dad that they live with, and everybody lived together as a family for a long time, many years, stuff like that. They were Pentecostal for a long time. Anyway, just wanted to give that back note. And anyway, so she went to Pentecostal, and then she was a Seventh-day Adventist, and then I think my grandmother just stopped going to church altogether. Anyway, my mom, she was Catholic, like I said, for a while, and then we just stopped going to church altogether, you know, because really the only time we went to church was the typical Easter. Christmas. Yeah. So, that was about it. And then eventually we started trying to find churches to go to, and I think we were doing the Baptist thing for a while, because my stepdad at the time, my brother and sister's dad, they their dad had a brother that went to a Baptist church, so we went to this Baptist church for a while. Like, and I say a while, like probably lasted a couple of weeks. We didn't go that often, but I remember they did that thing, because that was probably like the second church I went to.
Did you get baptized there?
No, I didn't get baptized there. But they did that thing where you fall back and stuff like that, and I was like, just fall back. So I was like,
I've had that happen to me once.
They're like, just fall back. No, I mean, they were telling me to fall back. I said, just fall back. I said,
no, they didn't tell me nothing.
I was a kid, bro. I didn't know what to do.
I was a kid. They didn't tell me fall, nothing. He just pushed my head, and I was like, what? Mm-hmm. And they was like, you're supposed to fall. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I kind of stumbled back and was like, oh, I missed that one.
I feel like if I would have really acted, I would have probably hurt myself. Like, what? Like an action movie.
Yeah, like break your neck or something.
Yeah, for real, would have hit something. Like, I would have missed. Like, oh, why are you over here? Why you fell over there? Like,
yeah.
So I did that. That was weird. And then we became Seventh-day Adventists, and that was real serious because I was about 12 when that was around, and when we started following Seventh-day Adventists, and that I really followed and practiced, and I really was okay. And what we started doing at first, we started going to my grandmother's old church because she went back into, she got cancer, and basically wanted to recommitted her life to God and everything like that, and before she passed away, she had gotten baptized again. And, she, even though I was just like, well, I'm pretty sure you're still messing up, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because she was still doing some things that were kind of like sketch.
What's the point of getting baptized again if you already got baptized?
I don't know. That's what I'm like, can you do that? Like, is that
if you get baptized, you're born again.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get baptized again, and then you're born again.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I don't know. She got rebaptized, I guess. Or maybe she never was baptized. She just attended the church, and I just didn't know.
Maybe.
Maybe I'm missing a part of the story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But she for sure got baptized. I remember I was there. It was a big deal. So, she was really emotional about it because she had cancer. And so she was just doing everything she could to live. I mean, she was really young. So, she knew, like, if I'm going to live a longer life, I'm going to have to, give my life over to God or something like that. So, I was like, wow. That was legit. And so, anyway, we started going to that church, but as much as we tried to get a better understanding of what it was about, none of us spoke Spanish. And my stepdad was black, so he didn't know nothing that was going on. So he was going to church just to go to church at that point, just to go because he wanted to be a part of the family, he wanted to do the right thing and make sure everybody went.
Yeah.
They spoke English during the Bible classes, but that's about it. During church services, it was all Spanish. And so my mom would interpret some, but at the same time, she had a hard time with it. So we said, well, my mom was like, you know what? I'm over here. And then they did Bible study with a couple of people in the church. They had like a Bible study group. They would actually come to our house and do Bible study, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. I remember the guy. There's 2 guys. There's a really older guy. He wasn't really old, but he was older than my mom. And so he's probably like my grandmother's age. And his name was Medina. And then there was a younger guy who was about my mom's age, and his name was Ulysses. Anyway, those two guys would come separately. It would be one or the other. They'd come and do the Bible classes, and they were really nice, man. There was just really nice people. There was really, really nice people over there.
It was Seventh Day Adventist.
Seventh Day Adventist, yeah, they were really good. They really took care of their people that churchgoers and stuff like that. I guess every every congregation should really take care of their people.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I just remember my mom was really into it. She really got into it, and then she's to the point where she's like, you know what, we got to find a church. So we scoured New York and went to I don't know how many Seventh Day Adventist churches just to find the right church for us. To find one that we felt like we were going to be comfortable with, to go. And it's so weird to go to different churches that believe in the same thing, but you go to a church and then you're judging I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's So I remember the first church we went to was in Midtown Manhattan. And it was a nice looking church on the outside, but there you go, judging, oh, it looks nice on the outside. Okay, we go inside. It was just very, proper. People just seemed really, robotic,
Wow.
And,
Seemed more like a
it didn't seem, it didn't seem homey. It didn't have that good feeling when you walked in. And their choir, their music, I think music was the biggest thing for us. I don't know why, but it was. And when they had the choir, they had a dude or chick. Somebody was playing the violin, somebody was playing the piano. Yeah, they had the violin. And then they had one or two people singing, and that was it. So I was
drums, no tambourine.
Nope.
No cymbal crash or nothing.
Yeah, and there was a couple of people who were Filipino or Korean or something like that. So it was really, I thought that was cool, the diversity that they had, because it's oh, cool. It's not just white folks or Hispanics or whatever, or black folks. It was, it was diversity. Because it was less diverse with going to the Spanish churches, just all Hispanics, you know what I mean? All Hispanics. So it's just seeing different people believe in the same religion. Okay, I was like, okay, this is different. I like this. Okay. Kind of opened my eyes up to as a kid, okay, this is more than, this church isn't just,
Yeah.
And I started really understanding, grasp, okay, we're different in what we believe in, but we're not, the people are, it's just whoever goes to church, whatever. It really opened my eyes up to, because with the Baptist church, it's all black people. Mm-hmm. Everybody. It's in the projects, what I'm saying, in the hood. We was whatever. So it's all black folks. Yeah. And then the Spanish church was all Hispanic folks.
That's how I grew up in an all black church, Pentecostal church. And whenever I was about 14, I stopped going to church altogether. Only went because my mom made me go, pretty much. And I played drums. That's where I learned to play drums at. And once I turned 14, I quit going because I just didn't enjoy it. And my grandma was dead, so I was what's the point?
See, they had good music at the Baptist church too, but then they had
music. We had great music.
And they started rapping and stuff like that, and then they weren't that good. So that's where they lost me. They were rapping, Christian rapping.
Yeah.
It was cool, what I'm saying, everything like that. But I was like, okay. But you kind of lost me. I was about just go 16. Back. Can y'all go back to singing? I
was about 16 the first time I heard a Christian rapper, and it was Grits. And
never heard of him.
I had never heard of him until about 2003. That's when I first heard him. And I was like, man, what is this? And then 2008, I heard Lecrae for the first time.
Oh, really?
So I was like, this is some legit stuff right here.
I think the first time I heard Lecrae was 2014, and what's his name? CJ introduced me to him. Mm-hmm. I had no idea who that was.
Yeah. So, I heard it first on a Christian radio station. I would always listen to it while I was riding around in my patrol car. I would listen to it, this Christian radio station, because they had this little Bible study at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then at 7, I'd be sitting in the school zone and they would start playing music. And one day they played this song and I barely caught on to it, but I was like, wait, they were rapping. What kind of station is this? I thought I was listening to Bible study. And then I flipped through it a couple of times, could never find that song again.
Yeah.
And then I heard it again, and they said the name, Lecrae Monroe, and I was like, all right. So I went back and looked him up. It was like after the music stops. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I went to that church I was telling you about. Medicine I had. I remember the pastor too. He wasn't very like. He just didn't. He wasn't moving. Like he just didn't feel what he was saying. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about that Spanish church, that Seventh-day Adventist church that my grandma went to, the pastor would talk and you would listen. I didn't know what he was saying, but I was just like,
Like
he got that thunder. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
You felt it. You know, and it does something to you. You know,
Mhm.
psychologically, you start feeling if your body starts feeling things when somebody's talking,
Getting
you start
chills,
listening. Yeah, getting chills, burning back, goosebumps. You start sweating. I'm having a heart attack. Oh, it's the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to. It just means something.
Once.
Or you start crying, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden you start crying, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't do that because I didn't understand what he was saying, but I just know whatever he was talking about, he meant that. You know what I mean? So like when we went to that church, we went to a couple of English-speaking churches, and we just
didn't get that fire.
So you don't have that feeling, you know?
Yeah.
You might be saying some good stuff, but I don't really want to hear you.
Have you ever been to
Can't hear you.
to a mosque?
No.
Never?
Nope.
Not a Jewish or
Nope.
a Muslim or... I got chased, not really chased. I got followed in Walmart one day. I was about 12 by a bunch of Muslims.
What?
Yeah.
Were they trying to go to their church?
Like, no. I was in Walmart just walking around, and they called me by myself. I was about 12 years old. Maybe, yeah, about 12 years old. And they called me and they was like, "Hey, which God do you follow?" And I was like, "What? Like, what does that mean? I don't know what you're talking about." And they was like, "You need to follow the true God." And they like tried to hand me this pamphlet, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But they were like dressed like Black Panthers, like all black.
What are those, the 5%ers?
I guess they inside Walmart, just walking around, and if they saw somebody black, they'd like try to jump on them and like.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, at that time I had never heard of a Muslim. I didn't know what a Muslim was, and so I was just, you need to leave me alone. You need to walk away, man. Stop following me.
Mm-hmm.
Leave me alone, Satan.
I know, right? Like I feel like if it's something that's really good, you shouldn't have to fight for me to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Why you in Walmart trying to sell God?
Why are you willing to catch a charge for this is a little too much?
Yeah.
If it's so good, I should want this, right? But it's not even like that. That's how we're conditioned, man. Like that's how the human race is. Like it's really good for you. Like I don't want it. Like, you know, I don't care.
So, got some questions here. Kind of like it's on the topic. So I grew up mostly Pentecostal, and then I joined a non-denominational church when I was 16. And again, I joined it because I was in a band. I played drums, and the leader of the band, his dad was the pastor at the church, so we used the church to practice. And the dad heard me play and invited me to come up Sunday morning and play drums for him. That was like the only reason why I went. I was the only black dude in the church, only black person in the church. I felt out of place, and so I went. I played drums, and I left. Every once in a while, I'll stay for the sermon, but other than that, I was out of there. I just didn't feel comfortable at first. Eventually, they made me feel like family, and like I was no different than them. But just overall, entirely, I felt out of place. So you said that you joined, or when you were a kid, you went to church on like holidays. So Easter Sunday, is it accurate, or do we just follow along with what our parents or what Christianity says this is the day?
I don't think anything we follow, to be honest with you,
Is accurate?
I
don't either.
I feel like everything is like, well, everybody made concessions. Okay, look, we're going to do it Tuesday, but we're going to do it Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what about this day? Okay, that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, just like a lot of holidays are on Mondays. Like, okay, we're supposed to celebrate on Saturday, but we gotta do a federal holiday for it, so we're gonna do it on Monday.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So everybody gets a day off on Monday. It's stupid. You know what I mean? But
it's just an excuse for people to take off work.
Yeah, you know,
and get paid for it.
I feel like God didn't have a calendar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then to celebrate some of these things, I even feel like I don't even know if God really cares for us to celebrate certain things.
I mean, we came up with the holidays.
You feel me? Like, so it's just some, and then like there's like ritualistic things like they got Passover and Lent, you know,
which was a tradition.
Yeah,
wasn't a religion.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like
or based on a religion.
It's like a ritual.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that you have to do, but it's something that we always did this. Mm-hmm. So traditionally, we're going to be doing this ritual that we always do. You know, we got this thing that we do, and if we do this, it represents this. Who decided that? You know what I mean?
Well,
so,
the Passover was what was that? The Passover.
That wasn't okay. If I'm right, isn't the Passover when Moses when they took the firstborn sons?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they had to do the lamb's blood over the doorway.
Yeah.
And then whoever had the lamb's blood over the doorway was protected, but everybody else who didn't believe, lost. Okay, cool.
Yes.
So what's up?
So
I'm just scared now. Now at this point, I'm just like, what's going on right now? You punishing everybody, or just I can't afford a lamb, God.
Yeah.
You know how expensive it is.
I got one of
inflation. So
So they celebrate Passover because they're celebrating the life that they were given, because death passed over their homes because they chose to follow the Israelite God. I always, once I learned about Muslims and the Nation of Islam, I always thought that Islam was Israelites, and like that was, the same thing. The more I started digging into it and learning more, I realized that Judaism is Israel. It's the Hebrews, and that the Hebrews are Moses' people, Abraham's people, and not
Old Testament.
Yeah. Not necessarily the Muslims. Muslims, they might come from they are obviously a descendant of Abraham, but they don't follow Moses. Like they follow.
They know of Moses.
They know of Moses.
Moses was another prophet,
Moses. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he was a prophet. They also believe that Jesus was a prophet and not God in the flesh. So, what I talked to a guy from Pakistan the other day, and he was schooling me on Muslims, on Islam, and he said, there's one God. Every religion knows there's one God. But it's the prophets is who we are actually basing our religion after. There's only one God. And he said there's only one God that created everything, and he's not a man. Never was a man. And I was like, man, I need you to come sit down with me. Not because I want to be converted into Muslim or anything like that. I just want to learn. But he told me to look up this movie called The Message on YouTube, and he wrote it down. It was like, The Message full movie in English on YouTube. So I watched it, and although it didn't quite necessarily answer a lot of questions, it answered some. It was pretty much a autobiography or a biography of the Muslims and how they don't want Muhammad to be idolized.
Idolized, yes.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of things that they believe in that to me makes some sense. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, that should be common practice. I don't know why it's not.
Yeah.
Like on tombstones, Okay, when somebody gets buried, they don't believe that their photograph should be on the tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of get that. But there's something else with pictures. I can't remember what it is. But I know there's certain things that they just don't believe in because they don't believe that a person should be idolized after they die either.
There's a lot of religions or traditions that once somebody dies, like on the year of their death, they go back and they pull them out of the tomb and they
Wrap them.
They dress them up, like they put clothes on them, stand them up for the families to look at them, and they throw flowers at them, and yeah.
If I go, don't do that for me. Okay, I don't want to be over here to.
I saw one photograph of a
That's
dude.
creepy, bro. I would have nightmares.
Yes.
I would have nightmares.
And these are like, it's just their custom. Like kids go out there and do it with them. Like
I want to remember you.
Out.
You know what I'm saying? I want to remember somebody like how they was when they was around, and the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember this time we fought or whatever. I remember this time we was happy and chilling, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to remember. I remember this time when we excavated his body. And it was crazy. You know, we had the DJ, and he was hanging by the strings and doing the robot. And he looked really happy. Like, no, he was dead, bro.
He was dead.
His arm fell apart. I think his ear fell off, and he stunk.
There was a pre-Incan civilization that did. They buried the dead in tombs with the open door, so that they can go and pull the body out, and they would feed it, they would give it drinks, and like they believe that the dead weren't dead.
Mm-hmm.
They were just in another state of being. So they would go and do all these little rituals and whatnot with the body, and like no, they said that they feed it and they give it drinks. Where are you putting this? Because if that body gets up and starts, yo, man, I missed y'all.
I know, right?
You know, I got about 5 minutes. I got to get back in there.
How do you feed it? Oh.
Yeah. Like, you just choking this.
And you're not doing this again, right? Because this is definitely going to be funky afterwards. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
That's just rough, you know? That's different. That's different. And I think along the way, like, some people didn't have anything to believe in, so for whatever reason, they pushed themselves so distant spiritually from God in any form that they were just like, you know, and it makes you wonder because God is everywhere, right? You say God is everywhere, and I believe that there's a presence, a force all around us at all times. But how can people go that far into believing these traditions and rituals? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of it is that these things happened around the same time as these other incidents were happening that the Bible speaks of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing, like the flood. There's Noah's flood, and then there's a Mayan or pre-Mayan flood, where people were sacrificing kids to try to stop the rain. Stop the rain.
Gotcha.
But that you don't know about it unless you go to that area. Nobody wrote about it. There's no. There's nothing. There's just science about this happened 4,700 years ago.
You know, and they don't believe it was the entire Earth was engulfed in water. It was just
that area.
It was a heavily populated area of Earth that was engulfed in water.
Saved. Two completely sides of the Earth. Like you got Bulgaria, the Black Sea, and then you got Peru on the Pacific Ocean. That both of them flooded around the same time.
Imagine like a world storm,
right?
Like it's really cloudy. It's cloudy over here too. It's cloudy over there.
But then you got two different you got two different gods.
Yeah.
That these are praying to, that they believe the mountains were the gods.
Yep, they fucked up. Wrong one. So obviously, if it ain't working, y'all need to figure it out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You killed 147 people and they're still flooding.
It's still flooding. You know,
damn. Like, dang. At least y'all buried them, and so now we can go back and be like, yo, you know, this is how old the Earth is, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, these are the first people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they found a bunch of like clay pots and stuff up in the Black Sea off the coast of Bulgaria.
Man, they're finding a whole bunch of stuff. There's parts of the Earth that are drying out because of like the weather change and things are getting hotter and stuff and drying out in certain areas, and they're finding a whole bunch of stuff that's like, oh hey, what's this?
What is this?
Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of stuff they're finding in like even the deserts in Vegas, and that water's moved because it's like raining in Vegas. Like they got rain over there right now. Like
oh, wow.
It was like really bad at one point not so long ago, like a couple weeks ago or so. And then like places where it's usually very wet or drying out.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like they're making little discoveries. They really believe that once the poles really start melting, we're gonna find some stuff. That's what they really believe, because it's getting there. It's like, oh, hey, did you know? Under this thick layer of ice, there's this. So who knows?
We're going to find
there is a
Megatron
mothership. There is a mothership. You know?
Megatron been right here all along.
Predators start coming out and aliens and stuff.
Stanley Wickwicki is right. But yeah.
For real.
Let's see.
Oh, but real quick, go back to like going back to like what I grew up as.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the 7-Day Adventist thing. Harlem. It's all Harlem, but it's separated by those two
Like
Ephesus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a nice church. Looking on the outside, really old. Had been there forever, like a castle. Mm-hmm. What's crazy though is that whole block, or all down Malcolm X Boulevard, you had like a church or two every block. And I'm telling you, like, you're talking about a couple of miles of churches, all different religions.
But why?
It's just they're all, I don't know why. So they got a couple mosques down there too. Anyway, so I did that, and I did it on my own. Like my mom and my stepdad, they found a church that like pastor. He reminded me of Malcolm X himself. Like something about the way he looked, the way he spoke to us. It was just like powerful. And then the choir was a choir, bro. As a matter of fact, the boys choir, was it the Harlem Boys Choir or something like that, they're called, started at the Ephesus Seventh-day Adventist Church. And then eventually, which is so weird, I found this out. So the Harlem Boys Choir, which is really big and famous, they ended up, the Ephesus Seventh-day Adventist Church couldn't afford to basically help take care of them and make them grow and have them travel and do all this stuff. So eventually they ended up becoming a Catholic choir. Isn't that weird? Because of
wouldn't that be like two different types of?
Yeah, it just made it really, and that's one thing I thought was odd about that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Certain things that happen, like I was just like, huh. So like they gave, it's like they switched the choirs from being Seventh-day Adventist choir, like because they started the Seventh-day Adventist church, they produced them and everything like that, to moving on to the Catholic church because they're able to do better funding for them and promote the music more and stuff like that. Isn't that weird?
It is. And
I remember because there was the Catholic, the pastor that came on and told them this is what's going on. You know, they had a show basically one day, and he came on. He was there talking about it. I remember when the boys choir first came to us, whatever. You know, they started out here and everything like that, and they talked to us. Hey, we can't really. These boys are really good. They just need better help. You know, and we don't have the money and the funding to be able to do this right now. So, but we want them to succeed. So we're gonna go ahead and we'd like for you guys to help take care of them. And of course, you know, we did it. You know, we were able to do it. You know, because Catholic Church, first of all, they got money left at wazoo. You know, and then anyway, and I remember I forgot what that day that we saw the choir. I can't remember. It was around Christmas or something like that because it was like some type of deal going on. It was like a big event, and Al Sharpton was there too. He came. He spoke to us a little bit about some stuff. So it was the first time I met Al Sharpton. That was pretty cool. Being from New York, you know, he's not like a big deal, but he is and he isn't, you know. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, so we did that and then we stopped going. We committed to that church for a while. I want to say a little over 2-3 years, and then I was the last one to stop going. I started going with my little brother and sister, and then next thing you know, my little brother, I mean, and then next thing you know, my mom stopped going, and my stepdad stopped going, and they got divorced. One thing they say though about these religions, they all have their thing. So with Seventh-day Adventists, the people believe that they were like an occult, okay, and then they believe that they did some type of like witchcraft stuff, which is not true. I don't know why people thought that.
Never heard that. My great aunt was Seventh-day Adventist, but I've never heard.
Because they believe in Ellen G. White as a prophet. They feel like she's a late, more modern day prophet.
Mm.
And one thing that they preached on, which is really good and it helped us a lot, when we were in school, right before we started going to church at the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Ephesus, we were struggling in school, man. We were doing really bad behavior-wise, all types of stuff. Once we started disciplining ourselves based off of what the Seventh-day Adventists did, eating properly, like not eating red meat, like
not eating pork,
like a lot of stuff. Like we really kind of like we changed our diets, less sugary foods or no sugar at all. Like really eating healthier foods, taking care of our body because they believe your body is a temple, and to desecrate your body is to desecrate the house of God. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
Yeah. And that was like a really big thing. And then watching television and stuff like that, bro, we watched an hour of television a day to the point where we basically didn't watch television. And then they have these deals that Jewish people believe, like the Seventh-day Adventists believe that the Sabbath is the Sabbath.
Right.
A Saturday.
And
they said that what they believe is on a Friday night from sundown to Saturday night sundown, you're supposed to do nothing. It's a day of rest. So you rest that day. No cooking, no cleaning, no watching TV, nothing. Nothing. And so a lot of times we go to church Saturday in the morning, we get there, and we stay there until the sun went down. And then they have a big meal and everything like that. Every Saturday they do that. Every Saturday. They say, hey, if you guys want to stay, we're going to take a break right now. If you guys want to come back, though, we're going to do another service. And they get the choir out. Oh, and the choirs. Okay, listen to this. The choir was a choir, bro. I'm talking like Sister Act. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was tough, man.
Yeah.
Like, these guys, there was a lot of them, and they wasn't just like on some like high pitch. They can all sing, and they came from all over. Our choir would travel to other churches around the United States, and the same thing. We get guest choirs in like every week.
Wow. So
it wasn't even always our choir singing to us. It was another choir from. We have a guest choir today. It's gonna be from such and such church. Our brothers and sisters from And I was like, man, they were just like some of them were like really good. You're like, oh, it was like going to a concert every day, every weekend. You know what I mean? It was really nice. So it was really popular, and I think that's what really captured us. And then they had two churches. So in one big church, there was two churches. One was the regular church where you could probably seat like 1,000 people. Yeah. And then the other one was a youth church where you could probably seat like maybe 300. A youth church. So once they got the youth pastor, the youth church going, they had the youth church where they anybody can go to the youth church, anybody can go to the regular church. Mm-hmm. But the youth church was supposed to help just encourage younger folks and be able to identify with them better and explain to, talk to more about what's going on in their lives as opposed to going to this adult church or regular church where they talk about more adult problems and situations where the youth kind of get lost in what they're like, okay, that doesn't pertain to me though, so how's that, And I really like that because it really helped to identify, it helps to identify with the problems that you're having, how God can help you in that age, range. So I thought it was pretty cool. So anyway.
That's cool. So what's the difference between Judaism and Seventh-day Adventists?
I guess because they believe in Christ. Christ was God.
Yeah.
The Son of Man. Son of God. He was, a man that was.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. I heard Judaism doesn't believe that Jesus was God.
Right.
So.
Right. I heard that I heard a Jewish rabbi say everyone would be Jewish if it wasn't for Jesus. I was like, what? But then I found out like Muhammad was 640-ish years after the death of Jesus. Then I'm like,
Well, then that's when you start realizing that there's actually, and you come to find out, there's actually more Muslims than there are Christians.
There are. Because a lot of
Islam is
Christians
actually
convert.
the biggest, yeah. Islam's actually the biggest religion in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, until this day, it's still bigger than Christianity.
Yeah.
It's just, Christianity has more of a hold on government entities than Islam does. I always feel like all these wars that we fight, especially the ones in the Middle East, is all based off religion. It's like basically we're still living through the Crusades. We just don't realize it. We don't call it that. We call it something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, who knows?
That's crazy.
But, and it's just like, why? For what? Believe in how you want to believe. I believe in what I believe. Now, when it comes to living life, I get it. Sometimes it does interfere when your religious beliefs interfere with your day-to-day life.
Right.
So, like, eating pork, doing certain things on certain days that you're not supposed to do. When you're not allowed to practice your religion beliefs because society has it where, you go to work Monday through Friday. So if you work Friday night, guess what? You're working Friday night. But I can't because my religion.
Right.
Or in your religion where you're not allowed to wear your, like females are supposed to keep their faces covered with, with certain sects of the Islamic religion, whatever. They don't. They're like, okay, this is what we believe in. This law, whatever, the Sharia law, whatever they call it. And I don't know a lot, so I know I'm probably misquoting and sound all crazy and stupid. But if there's certain things that they're required to do in society that goes against their religion, then yeah, that's messed up. So how do you appease everybody, right? And what's crazy is that now it's getting even worse. Where now not only do we have to appease people based off of their religious beliefs, but their sexuality and gender beliefs, which is like a whole nother dynamic. So how people used to say when I was young, I've heard somebody say this when I was younger, like about 4 or 5 years old. I can remember as early as that. Is that God's coming back or Jesus coming back? I really feel that now. Oh, he's coming back. It's because it's getting scary, man.
Yeah.
And then, I guess as you get older, and the world changes, and you have a difficult time adapting to it. That's when you're like, nah, you see, this is impossible. Yeah. But these kids are coming up in that, man. And what we came up in, we were able to deal with. I'm pretty sure when hip hop came out, there was like, oh, God's coming back.
Right.
It's like, all this
when the West Coast gangster rap came back, it was
Jesus is coming back. And look at all these young men dying over nothing, over this cracking music. And
Wow.
So I don't know. It's just wild, man. The world, we're just evolving and adapting to things that are just, and you have to look back into time, into history, that the known history of things and the known interpretation of whatever history we have in human history. Things were different. There was no television. There were no cell phones. There were no wires, no outlets, no pipes. You know what I'm saying? Well, there might have been pipes.
Pipes.
No,
it was like a hole.
It was
in
a
the
tube. Yeah, but still something similar. But anyway, you know what I mean. They probably did make. You know what I'm saying? They had bamboo.
I mean, they created it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They had bamboo. I'm pretty sure they kind of some type of something. You know what I'm saying? But it's just. What I'm saying is like all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Look at what we got right now. It's just we're gonna keep on advancing until something happens. So, but
digging to the core and hitting.
Who knows what? Yeah.
They're putting pipelines in everywhere. They drilling everywhere. Something's going to end up exploding.
No, what if we on the roof of the Earth and we bust a hole into and there's a hollow Earth?
Yeah.
And man, it's nice to have y'all. There's people down there, y'all.
There's a hollow.
It's like, oh man, they broke through. I told you they figure it out eventually.
Damn. All right. So going back to the beginning.
Okay.
Do you think that, given that a day in the eyes of God is like 1,000 years?
I don't think that. See, I feel like time is relevant to whoever's living it. So, I don't think that God, his time is definitely different than ours. So, a second to him, for us, our second is probably nothing. to him. Like 1,000 years for us is his second. So yeah.
Yeah.
So like a second to him is probably like 1,000 years to us, or a blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying?
So
It's nothing.
In saying that,
Just like look at insects, and look at certain animals. You know what I'm saying? Like how their lifespan for them is probably super long. Like a mouse lives like 3 years, 3 to 5 years.
yeah,
But if in mouse years, in their mind, they're living to be 150 or something like that.
right.
You know what I mean?
Or like a dog.
Or like a dog. You know what I'm saying? The way they live is just, you know, they're living a long life in their eyes, but really
Yeah.
to us, we're like, oh man,
Yeah.
my other dog died. You know. And so it's like it's sad, but you know, it's kind of like. But yeah, I feel like the bigger you are, the more the time is different for you. So I
Yeah.
just don't think we can ever fathom, and to even try to think or predict what God thinks or is living through is just don't. Just, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, like there are two factions of people. There's those who believe the world was created in 7 days,
Mm-hmm.
and there are those who deny the 7 day. It had to be longer, right? So to God, it might have actually been 7 days, whatever. But overall, it would have been 7,000 years, 7 eon. How long is an eon? I don't know. It's an unmeasurable amount of time,
It's measurable. Yeah, I just can't remember what it is.
something like that. So, if we go off of 1,000 years, you got the first 1,000 years. He created the earth, the heavens, and then he created the moon, the sun, the stars, and then he created the water and the grass, and then he created man on like
Mm-hmm.
the fourth day. So was this 4,000 years since the beginning, since he first was like, I'm gonna do something?
Gotcha. So I believe in the Big Bang. I believe the Big Bang is the creation of everything, but I believe God created the Big Bang. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and I think what's relative to us is the creation of the universe,
Mm-hmm.
our known universe.
Mm-hmm.
That God created it, you know, Big Bang. And then I keep snapping because that's why Big Bang. I feel like God was just like,
yeah, just
and then so
Let's
like
go.
when He created everything, it just was like, to me is okay. Yeah, I think it took a long time, and we, you know, the way everything happened wasn't as simple as we put it,
right.
but it's as simple as we can understand it,
Right.
or as, you know, that's our way of understanding it. But any more depth, any more thoughts put into how much time or how long did it take is irrelevant. Who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's,
You know what I mean? Like
that's one of the biggest
too, like,
arguments.
yeah.
Though. Like a atheist will try to say, well, was it? Which one was it? Huh?
And while you're arguing about that, it's starving children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
he's got, okay, shut up, listen, stop crying around. You'll eat eventually, or you'll die and go to heaven. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's, you know, yeah, I know you're suffering right now. We're all suffering. Like,
We're
you know
all
what I'm saying?
suffering.
We're all suffering.
Jesus
you know,
suffered.
Yeah,
Shut
so,
up.
Yeah. You know, but it's like, whoa. One thing about Jesus is that he was very particular about taking care of children. That's what in the Bible he was like. He's like, y'all need to take care of these kids. Y'all are worried about yourselves. These kids are out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
So he was definitely, I believe, the children of the future. You know, and
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of religious debates are like unnecessary and it take away from the purpose of you being or practicing that religion. Jesus had the idea and thoughts of what Jesus is supposed to be, in my eyes, is living your life almost perfect with a lot of love towards one another.
Mm-hmm.
And,
As closely
yeah.
related to how Jesus lived as you can.
or the, you know, how God created the earth and everything, and he loved his creation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the most important thing that people should focus on.
Do you think with going into creation, because God created the angels, God created man,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that angels were given free will?
No. I think they weren't given free will, but they still have a. I feel like they might have. I don't know. I think they might have a choice to make, or there might be something they can do to prevent them from. Like they have. Okay, so maybe angels do have free will. Okay. But there's worse consequences because they can't be saved once they make poor choices. That makes sense.
Right.
Us, we have free will, and if we mess up, you know
Jesus who died for us.
Or if you're in a different religion, something else, or this other religion, something else, or this other religion, something else, and it's okay because technically, maybe it's okay because we're all believing in the same God, but it's in different forms. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? So whatever.
Well, isn't it like Catholics? They don't necessarily. They're Christian, but they pray to Mary instead of to Jesus.
They pray to saints. There's a difference. There's a whole bunch of different saints I think they pray to.
Yeah.
Remember, I was young when I got out of that, so I didn't really, you know what I mean? They pray to a whole bunch of different saints, and that saints of this, you know, like Saint Michael, who's like the patron saint of like law enforcement, of airborne soldiers, like, you know, it's just everything, just like, every warrior, any type of warrior. You got Saint Michael.
Why wouldn't you choose Gabriel? He was like the
no, because Michael was the warrior angel. I think he was like he was the dude. He was that dude.
But Gabriel was the dude that Michael had to go to.
Yeah, but he's the messenger. I thought Gabriel was the messenger.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Gabriel's like the messenger and Michael's the warrior angel kind of deal. I think that's kind of like their theme. So, but it's even still there was an angel. It's saint.
No, it's angel.
No, but but they call him the patron saint.
But they were archangels.
But in Catholicism, they call them saints, is what I'm saying. Anyway, I don't know too much about that. I don't understand. I never really looked into what does it mean. You know what I'm saying? But you see, like, St. Michael is the person, you're like, with the St. Michael's prayer and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm just saying, I don't know. I think angels could be, they just can't be forgiven. They follow different rules in that realm that they live in, and we have these other rules. Like they're influencers, and they can do certain things that we can't do, but they have to abide by a strict set of rules. Because if they go against those rules, I think that they no longer exist. Like they could no longer exist. We would kind of live on forever, but them, they were created, and if they perish, they can no longer exist. Does that make sense?
So why didn't Satan no longer exist? He got cast out, and he took
because God didn't destroy him.
A third of the.
I feel like if God destroys you as an angel, you will no longer exist. But as a human, maybe you just have a way of coming back, you know, and starting over again.
So like reincarnation.
Kind of deal. Kind of like or like just some type of like reincarnation, I guess. Type of reset or something. Another opportunity to fix your deal. Yeah. But you get different memories, different intelligence, different body, different culture, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that you can come back as you will come back as another person, or you'll come back as another being anything
like an insect, a dog,
a tree?
I think God was pissed. If that's the case, okay. We're gonna do a couple of cockroach years. And then when I feel better about it, we'll go ahead and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'd be messed up. Because I feel like every living thing has it's got to have some type of spirit or something. But if that's the case, so listen. If humans are the only ones that have this soul, okay, that we have a soul for sure, and insects and animals don't, which is hard for me to believe because I really feel like animals got to have some type of spirit. There's, you know what I'm saying? Because animals really be knowing some stuff, like, without talking. You know what I mean? Especially cats and dogs, especially. You can't tell me they ain't got no soul. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they do. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't it the Egyptians that worshiped the cats?
Yeah.
Maybe they were onto something.
You know? But I don't think that. I don't know, because there's a lot of roaches and bugs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, if mosquitoes got souls, fuck them. It's how I feel though, because the mosquitoes, bro, they're annoying. With spiders.
Yeah, Snakes.
And all their little babies
A
on their
snake
backs.
can't
Snake.
have a soul.
But what if it does?
It can't.
But what if it does? You know what I'm saying?
I
All
don't
these
know.
fish that we eat, and cows,
Ugh.
horses.
Horses. I mean, you ain't supposed to in the States.
What?
It's against the law.
No, I'm just saying horses have souls. I didn't say
I
eat
thought you
horses.
said eat.
No, I ain't trying to eat no horse.
What? You can't do that. Hold on, Tom.
No, I'm saying fish that we eat and cows. And what about horses? You know, horses.
Yeah.
You know, they got souls.
Yeah. I guess.
Animals. I'm just thinking of animals in general. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't know. You know, God. I don't understand God how He did all that.
All right. One last question. I'm gonna screw this word up because I do it every time. Dos ex machina. 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 So I screw it up every time.
Dos ex machina.
Yeah.
Okay, you talking about the anime?
No. All right. So do you think that? Obviously, I know your answer.
What does that mean?
But do you think God intervenes? All right, whenever God created the universe, do you think that He created it and just sits back and watches what happens and doesn't intervene? Do you think that He created it and He plays it like a chessboard? What do you think?
I think that God intervening is a huge plot hole. Okay, because God, you hear God is all knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
He's all knowing. Everything that is gonna happen, He already knew it was gonna happen before it happened.
Right.
Everything that, so He's all knowing. Everything's gonna happen. So it's like, so then there's no, everything's predestined,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can't change anything. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And God knew it was gonna happen. This is how it's supposed to happen.
Right.
Yet we pray for change. Then and then God, you say, okay, well, does God sit back and let everything happen, or does He intervene?
Mm-hmm.
According to the Bible, He intervenes
According to the Bible.
a lot,
Yeah.
not just a little bit, a lot.
So
you got the Ten Commandments.
yeah.
Why? That's an intervention.
True.
It's okay. Stop. There's rules. Time out. We're making rules. We're gonna make rules. I'll write them down. Okay, you just give it.
You got Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I wasn't done.
Noah's
The
flood.
play. You got Noah's flood. Then you got Moses' everything. Because with Moses, everything happened. You know what I'm saying? Like everything.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't God who did it, then how it happened? You know what I'm saying? Because Goses. God used Moses to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So either Moses is a bomb-ass magician, he's like Merlin, or, he went to Hogwarts, or God was like, no, I'm going to let this happen. I'm going to give you these powers so this could happen. And then, like with Adam and Eve, if he knew that was going to happen, why you did that? Why you let them, I gave him free will, but I know what's going to happen anyway. I give him, you can choose whatever you want to do, but I know what you're going to do. I already know what you're going to say. It reminds me of my children when they lie to me. And it's like, look, I already know what happened.
Right.
I already know what happened.
Right.
I want you to tell me the truth. Because really, we don't know what happened. But we think we have a really good idea because we've been there before. And, they're our children. We created them, so we know everything about them. We know when they first lied, to how they lie and all the mannerisms when they're lying. So, Jesus. If Jesus really is the Son of God, okay,
God in the flesh.
or God in the flesh,
Yeah.
right? Then that's intervention. That was one of the biggest interventions.
Yeah. That's what Christianity is based on.
So, why is He intervening? If he has to intervene, then is it free will?
That's a good question.
It's free will. However,
I know you're mess up,
so I'm gonna go ahead and create all these safeties in place. So even though you don't follow the rules, and I gave you rules, no matter what happens, you'll be alright. So then, what's the point of doing anything?
Yeah.
What's the point of following to be like Jesus if he died for our sins and we're no longer sinners? We're going to heaven regardless, but we can continue to sin. So it's okay to continue to sin, but it's bad to sin.
It's a catch-22.
It's like really messed up.
It is.
It reminds me of The Devil's Advocate. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
He was like, look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow. Swallow, but don't enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and it's tough. It's like really hard to, to decipher between all that. And then on top of all that, you have a family to raise, a companion that you want to love, a job you got to go to support your family that took care of you. You know what I'm saying? Like you got this family that raised you that you got to think about too, that isn't all about God all the time either. Some of them are, some of them aren't. They got different, things they believe in. And it's, it's like a lot to navigate in life.
And you go through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You go through, like we went through hell.
Mm-hmm.
And we offer it up to God that we made it out of there in a different light than what it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's really hard to go through all that, and then with God always being there, it's like, why is this happening? And and there's things that I believe in, I practice with my wife, because my wife's traditions and the religion that she grew up around was not Christianity. Was not, they went to church because it was like daycare. Like they got dropped off at church for a couple hours so her grandmother could do stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so, but she knew it was a good place to go to because they're supposed to be good people there. Mm-hmm. So she was like, okay, they're good people here. They believe in God and in their way. Yeah. So didn't show no disrespect. Just, hey, I'm gonna drop my kids off here. Or my grandkids here to go to church, and I run some errands in town. So, and whatever.
Do you think that, because like, the biggest question or the biggest thing that I hear whenever, especially a person of color, says that they are a Christian, and they say, like, the biggest response is from other people of color is, why do you believe in the white man's God?
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate hearing that.
Yeah. Oh, man, there was somebody who made it. See, and that's why I feel like Muslims got that part down good.
Because they accept everybody.
Yeah, and they don't idolize. They don't have a picture of Muhammad.
Right.
Anywhere. I don't know what the guy looked like. He could have been white hair, blonde hair, blue eye, brown eye, purple. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He could have been whatever. He could have been white. I'll never know. I hope they don't describe him in the Quran, and they probably don't. It's not necessary.
Right.
What does that have to do with, listen, this is what it looked like?
This is what it looked like.
Only, I feel like...
His skin was olive toned.
And then they describe Jesus in the Bible what he looked like, but... Why?
Yeah. I think that was...
Who's checking him out like that? Look at Jesus. He's so fine.
He had a six-pack.
He had
He had the perfect beard.
He looked like he did HIIT training. He was like his Pilates.
He did CrossFit.
I know he be walking some legs. He has a lean diet of fish and wine.
And bread.
And bread.
And bread. He had to have those carbs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm Jesus Christ. And I want you to join me in my, that sounds so wrong. Right. I'm doing I'm fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. Join me in my journey of weight loss and spirituality. You know what I mean? Like, crazy.
Yeah. So, man, this is some good stuff. Do you think that going to church, regardless of what type of church you go to, now we're going to church out of religion, or are we going to church off of tradition? This is what we do. We always go to church. Jesus had a following. Whenever he stopped and gave a speech, that was the church. Or Paul set up all these churches all across Europe and Asia. Mm-hmm. And this is what we're gonna do because this is what they did.
Yeah.
Because the church isn't supposed to be a building. We are the church. The people are the church, according to the Bible. You don't have to have a building to be the church. We are the church. And a lot of pastors say that. We are the church, but we need $500 per person so we can pay off this building.
Mm-hmm. You know, and me personally, it's hard for me to, like, because there's times where I get really into it. I'm like, man, I really believe this. I want to start making sure my children know what's up. But then when I start losing my way, I start losing my thoughts about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I start kind of backpedaling how I feel about teaching my children something that I'm not 100% committed to, you know?
Yeah.
So if I'm not committed to it 100%, and then I have critiques about everything, I guess my mind is just crackhead like that, you know what I'm saying? OCD. Like, I feel like if I'm in church and my children go to church too, and they're in like their Bible study class, like, what are they learning?
Right.
Like, can I see the curriculum? Like, are you guys breaking down what the purpose of them, like who God is, and how are you breaking it down, and you know, what are you doing exactly? Like, what's your curriculum like? You know, how are they learning? When are you guys going to test them on their knowledge to make sure they're retaining this knowledge about who God is and what the Bible represents, and you know, so, and who Jesus is and everything? Like, what are y'all doing to make sure that's like that? I feel like there should be like a syllabus every year, and you can do it. You could pick one of the holidays, you know what I mean, or one of the religious, you know, ceremonial, tradition, whatever holidays you want, to say, okay, we're starting our classes over, you know, this is, if you're at this age level, this is what we teach you, this is what we do. If you're at this age level, this is what we teach you, this is what we do, this is what you're expected to learn and know. And so, and if you don't know, you got to catch up, because you can start going to church anytime. And we'll help you catch up. You know, we'll do some one-on-one stuff with you, you know. So, you know, just basic principles. But you can't break it down like that. You have to really be committed and believe in it and do it all day, every day, in order for you to really understand. So, being a Christian or a Muslim or any other religion, I think you really, if you're going to be committed to it, in order for you to really learn and understand it, you got to do it every single day of your life. And part of the reason why I struggle so much, because there was no commitment when I was younger. And as an adult man with a family and children, my principles are all jacked up.
Right.
I get frustrated too, because I talk to my mom, and she went from, remember, she was Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist, Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, then Christian non-denomination. And that's where she's at. And I get frustrated because she talks to me about stuff that she believes in, that she said, you should know that, you should do this, you should know this. You know, you believe. I was like, listen, where were you at? Where was that energy when I was growing up?
Yeah.
You know,
it was spent.
Yeah.
Getting you to where you at today.
Yeah, but it's the same though. And I'm jacked up, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm jacked up. So it's just like, if I had that same energy growing up, like, I would be a Seventh-day Adventist today, right now. If my mom and stepdad would have never broke up and they would have continued going to church, I'd be a Seventh-day Adventist right now. Right now. I had an ex-fiance that was Pentecostal, and I was fighting with her to be a Seventh-day Adventist, because I said, I know we could do this, because there was a couple that went to church at the Seventh-day Adventist church I went to, and the guy was the Seventh-day Adventist and the female was a Pentecostal, and they both went to church for their respective religions, and they both went to church with each other, and their children, who were adults, or they were young adults, they were teenagers. She said sometimes they came with me, sometimes they came with them, but they both knew something. We never fought over our religious beliefs. That was
that before with.
And I was like, man, you guys are amazing. I was like, that's good, you know. Like, how could you, to be? That's a real couple.
Yeah.
You believe in what you believe in. I believe what I believe in, and I'm never gonna disrespect you and your beliefs.
Right.
You know. And
I think
that goes along too with you know, just respecting your spouse and what they, you know, and who they are, and you marry them for who they are. You know. So.
I used to struggle with that, because my wife, she always one, she didn't grow up in any particular church, and her family didn't go to church regularly. They did when she was younger, but over time as they got older, they stopped pretty much going to church. And I introduced them. It was like, hey, come to church with me, you know, and but she started to grow into like collecting crystals and stuff, and whenever I first caught on to that, I was like, hold on, are you like a Wiccan or something?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, I'm not, I don't do that, whatever, you know. But she believes in what is it called, Hellenistic, holistic, yes, like using
Holistic medicine.
yeah, like herbal, like tea tree oils and stuff like that.
Natural ways of healing.
Right. And so she does
Holistic medicine is actually like is practiced a lot in different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
It's I feel like, and that's kind of like how that is how Seventh-day Adventists and old school, you know, Hebrews believe. God gave us all the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to create it in a lab. And to be really honest, what are they creating in the lab? What
Right.
chemicals are they using from where? Because everything that we use to make anything was derived from something that was created on Earth.
Right.
Whether it was a chemical or, you know what I mean, or whatever, mineral or vitamin or something like that. It came from somewhere. But that's man-made stuff, man, you know? So it's like, and these chemicals have like these medicines that are man-made have other chemicals in them that aren't necessarily good for us, but they're small dose.
Mm-hmm.
But since we have to take so much of it because we're so jacked up, you know,
it just keeps us more messed up.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like I don't think the Earth wasn't meant to be this populated. No. I really don't believe that. Yeah, it's a big place, and we probably could, but I feel like with everything that we've advanced beyond what we were supposed to, which is why we struggle as a society, as an Earth, you know, as a whole. Like, we struggle with religion. Mm-hmm. We struggle with understanding our purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we struggle with family issues. We struggle with the law. We struggle with finances because it's man-made stuff. Yeah. We created problems. Like, God's law back then was easy. We created all these other laws that were like,
yeah,
all right, you know, don't get me wrong, like, you shouldn't kill people, you know, don't molest people, children especially, you know, don't abuse people and be kind to people, and nowadays, it's like, I feel like people we struggle with now, our epidemic is like mental health. Mm-hmm. You know, mental health is like one of the biggest things we struggle with. It is. As a human race, you know, people just like, because there's so many of us, but yeah, we're so out of touch with each other and with God. You know, whatever God you believe in, you still don't believe, you know?
Yep.
So, I feel like atheists have it easy. Because they don't got to believe in nothing. So, you guys got it easy. But until they get to that point, we're like, I don't want to die. Like,
I feel like
maybe you should pray.
Like atheists even, they believe in something.
You know, some of them just don't believe in, you know, and
whether it's God, science.
Yeah, they gotta believe. And they probably put up front, I don't believe in that stuff. But yeah, why you talk about God bless you then?
Right.
I thought you were atheist.
So, I thought you were atheist.
So you gotta really, it's like, you gotta be really, really, that's a lot of work to not believe in anything. Mm-hmm. You don't believe in nothing. Nothing.
So, do you think witches can be Christians?
It depends on what you define as a witch. I feel like
casting spells and.
Well, what's a Christian?
Moses was.
I know he was. Yeah.
He was.
But he wasn't a Christian.
But he wasn't a Christian.
He was Jewish.
True.
He was a Hebrew.
True.
Yeah, because that was before Jesus.
True.
So.
But
he was a spell casting fool.
If somebody was like, I am
not a fool, but you know,
I am a Christian, but I'm gonna put a spell on you.
Then you're not a Christian.
I had a guy put a hex on me once.
Really?
Really. At Oklahoma County.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he said some voodoo words So I just put a hex on you. It's like, good for you.
I believe that people can try to do that stuff, and it really just depends on your connection, your family's connection to God and to each other. And so I think that's why it's important to have animals in your home, because I feel like animals will protect you. If you take care of them, they'll protect you spiritually wise. So like a long time ago, when my mom was dating my new stepdad, the one I have now, that she's been with for years, he was divorcing his wife, and she was Dominican. Some Dominicans believe in some, they call it brujeria. So they're like in some witchcraft stuff. They be doing some stuff. She said something. She left a message on the phone one time, and I don't know what she said in Spanish, but she said something like speaking in tongues, and she had this wicked laugh, bro. Wicked laugh, like this cackle laugh. I was like, oh, scared the crap out of me. My mom just deleted the message. She's like, ha, 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 like freaking Ursula. Like, I don't know, like it was creepy, man. Anyway, all I know, we had finches. Finches are these birds.
Oh, okay.
Zebra finches.
Yeah.
So I worked in a research facility at Rockefeller University, and one of the studies they were doing was on finches and their immune system, and how finches will pick their mates based off their immune system. And the way they know the mates had a good immune system, the males, they had really dark orange, almost red beaks, and the color of their feathers were a certain color around their neck, and certain things, certain features that they had show a more dominant immune system trait, like their immune system was really good. Our finches lived forever. My grandmother had these finches, okay? That's what made me even more so like these birds were a big deal for us. So my grandmother had finches, and they had a bunch of babies, bro. And when she passed away, we all took some. I think we had 7.
Dang.
And yeah, we had 7. And then but there was like probably like 20 of them when we separated them all. I don't know what happened to the other ones, but I know our 7 was like we took the majority of them. Everybody had some, and then we had 7. So we took 7, and we took care of them pretty well. You know what I'm saying? They had a spot by the window. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that
You didn't leave the window open.
No,
in the
no. I don't know. We live in an apartment building, bro. On the 8th floor.
So did Martin.
No. No. We had screens where they couldn't. You know, we didn't. They didn't have a cage. They had a cage. They couldn't get out the cage. So we fed them really good food. We gave them water every day. We took care of them, bro. Those finches lasted for like years. Years. So they live a long time. And they would have babies and reproduce, have babies. So, you know. So, you know, the genetic traits are kind of like there. Well, we had, I think, 2 of them pass away. But they were old. We had them for years. So the 2 oldest ones, they passed away. And then we're down to, you know, another one had passed away, another one passed away. It was like a while, like it was in between, like, and so they died of old age. We thought they got sick, died of old age, whatever. And we still had 4. I think we were down to 4 at that point, and they were all males. Tell me how. One day after this day happened, they all died. Right after that thing happened where she was on the phone talking all crazy, they all died. Like that. So I was working at this research facility, and I asked the guy who was showing us this deal about the finches. He told me all that stuff. I said, man, we have zebra finches. And I do know about their immune system stuff like that, but I was like, man, I have a question, like, what do you think could cause a bunch of finches to die at once? He's like, it'd have to be a chemical or something, like, you know. I was like, a chemical? I was like, yeah, something that poisoned them, or something in the water maybe, so it's like, there was nothing different. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't do a science experiment to figure out what, or autopsy. I don't know why they all died. But I can only attribute it to that. That's the only thing I could attribute it to, because nothing we did different.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. We took care of those finches every day. They were part of our family. It was like, whatever. We didn't sit there and talk to them, it wasn't like whatever, but we took care of them. Those are our finches. Those are my grandmother's finches, so it was a big deal. But I just know for a fact, and one day I remember, and so this lady that my mom used to talk to, her godmother, she said, that's why those birds died. She said, whatever it was that that lady tried to put on you, those birds caught it.
Oh man.
She said that's why the birds died. That's what she believed. She believed real strongly in that. So so I was like, dang.
That's like Jesus casting the demons out of the man into the pigs. Because the demons knew that if Jesus cast them out and basically destroyed them,
Mm-hmm.
they would be destroyed. But they asked, will you throw us into those pigs so that way we have a chance at living again? Not living like living, but they could go into somebody else or whatever.
Gotcha.
So Jesus cast them into the pigs, and the pigs fell off the hillside. Because pigs can't swim.
Mm. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
They can't swim.
Well, I know that after that whole deal, my mom got sick with the seizures and stuff too. So I feel like, yeah, those birds caught it. That was like a precursor, but they didn't get it all. Yeah, that or she kept on, and my mom started having issues, having seizures and stuff like that. Crazy, huh?
That is. It's very crazy. Well, we have reached 1 hour and 23 minutes.
You know, ultimately, whatever you believe in is what you believe in. But you got to really have some type of foundation. And I want to teach my children something because they have questions. So how do you answer these questions without knowing anything? Like after you die, what happens? And one of my youngest daughter, she was like, I can't wait to go to heaven to meet Jesus, you know. And we die and this and that. But she goes, well, I want to live a long life and a good life and be happy here. But I'm excited because I know when I die, I'm going to go to heaven to meet Jesus. And I was like, I'm okay with that. You know, I want her to be happy. I want to think about life, be happy, and think about death and think happy thoughts too, you know, not to be too sad about it.
Yeah.
There's this really good movie called The Invention of Lying.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't seen it, it breaks down like how people cope with tragic situations and how the human mind works and believes in things in order to find comfort in reality. In hard situations, you know? At least that's what I got from the movie, but it's really good. It's a really good movie if you're The Invention of Lying.
We have to watch The Invention of Lying and The Message and The Passion of Christ and the 10 Commandments.
Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
If you not the new Ben-Hur, the original Ben-Hur with Charleston Heston. Let me tell you something. And even the original 10 Commandments with Charleston Heston was good.
Yeah.
Listen, those were raw. They were real. Like, it's something about it. It was horrible animation. The graphics weren't that great because it was back in the day. But the way it was done, it was good, bro. Like, today, I'm like, man, it was good. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Word. Anyway.
Well, I have enjoyed this, and I hope that you have, and I hope that you have enjoyed this show.
Our conversations are going to be somewhat like this, you know, just us back and forth asking each other questions and whatnot. They won't always be this serious about, you know, talking about religion is kind of a touchy topic, and, you know, it's difficult for probably some people to hear what we're talking about, discussing, because we have no background or expertise in, you know, theology. But, you know, we have an opinion. And we have our thoughts on what we grew up with, and you know, yeah, we might be ignorant on a lot of the subject that we're talking about, but at the same time, we know what we know, and this is what we have, and we don't think we're any different than any other person in this world.
We're just trying to get through life.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people like us that are, you know, they just have questions or they don't know, and as little as people out there think we don't know, or you know, think we know, though, yes, these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. Imagine those who know less than us. And I know there's people who know less than us. I know.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, so it's whatever, you know. I'm just not judging anybody. I just hope nobody judges us for what we believe in.
Hope you ain't judging my ashy legs while you're over here.
Actually, you look pretty... You
pretty
look
dapper.
Like, yeah, you look good, bro. You got some sheen. You got some sheen.
Put some lotion on, but then I
Look
went outside.
look a little oily. Your hands are looking nice and moist.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, your head. You shave your head?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I shaved my head last night.
Nice and moist
I
too. I gotta clean up. Be more
I made a
presentable.
video and and I mentioned my bald head or I had hair, but except for right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so so I was like, I need to go ahead and clean this up. I can't keep doing that. It's just like on like a weekly basis, like as much as you gotta shave, especially because my hair it grows fast around here and not here. So I gotta shave like every 3 days, and sometimes I just I can't.
I feel you.
So I'm just gonna let the horseshoe grow.
You gonna let the horseshoe grow?
Let the horseshoe grow.
You gonna rock it? You gonna tape it up and fade it? I've seen some people do that, man. Shit, they just rock that shit. It's a
You're
look.
lucky I can't grow
It's
no
a look.
hair because I have braids all the way around.
Oh man, who's got that going for them?
Stevie Wonder.
Al.
You stupid.
Al, you know Al. Al got that.
For real?
He got that. Because I
I ain't
remember one
seen
time
him
he
in a
took his
minute.
do-rag off and I was like, damn.
Oh man, put it back on.
Bro, he got the 7 head, you know, he got the 4 head, the 5 head. No, it's like, it starts way back here and then it just goes down.
Like,
He's got that.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta let it go.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, how do you braid that? You know what I'm saying? This is wild. But hey, man, you know what I'm
He's
saying?
still like this.
Yeah. But you never know what he got under there because he always got that do-rag on anyway. So what's the point? If you're going to braid it, you got to show it. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that's why.
You know, he's always wearing a hat or a do-rag. But whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, it is what it is. We love him anyway.
Play gonna play.
So, come back next week for the next show. This one was titled Religion or Tradition. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. We enjoyed making it. And it's all love. Yeah. So, Blakkavellie and JD Jeezy, we out. Love, peace, chicken grease. Holla at your boy.